Let's go to the phone lines. We're talking UFC, we're talking boxing. 03717223344. Ben supports Grimsby Town. He's phoned up to talk all things mixed martial arts. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Hi, mate. I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm very well, thank you. What would you like to say?
Yeah, for me, it's UFC's not taking over boxing. I think it took over a long time ago. I think it strides ahead of how boxing is at the moment. I think the problem with the UK is the time of the UFC. There's obviously a lot of it's 3-4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. But when you're watching a UFC event, it's fight after fight. As soon as one fight finishes, there's another amazing fight follows it straight after. And I think the problem with a lot of the boxing cards we've got in the UK is that I think the undercards are usually quite weak. And then you're waiting sort of, 20, sometimes I think when we're waiting for the main event, we're waiting for about an hour before they actually come out. The ring walks and things like that are ridiculous. And I just think that boxing is way behind. And when it comes to actually making fights, I know there's a lot to be said for UFC fighter pay. But the main fighters in the UFC, they fight 4 or 5 times a year. We're looking at our sort of main boxers, and how often do we actually see them? Once a year, once every 2?
Do you know what? You're Ben. That's a great
Ben.
call there. He's right there, and I've often wondered that. Why do fights take so long, and why are some boxers so inactive? Where it's like they fight once a year or maybe twice maximum a year.
I don't know. When Mike Tyson started out, he was fighting maybe 10 times a year, even more, 15 times a year.
It's mad. But even when you look at some of the fighters from back in the day, 3-4 times. Yeah. But at the minute, I don't get it.
I don't see how you can compare the two. I don't think there's a boxing fan out there. Okay, there's going to be, but the majority of boxing fans won't get just bored of boxing and then go, do you know what? I'll jack that in. I'll turn to UFC now.
I'm bored of waiting, though. Like, the fight that I think a lot of people on the planet are waiting for is Errol Spence versus Crawford, right? Terence Crawford.
Yeah.
When is that fight ever going to get made? They're the two best in their division.
But there's just too much money involved in boxing, isn't there?
But it's fight then. You get a whole bunch
but you sign up to a broadcaster, they've spent millions of pounds promoting the fighter and so on. Wayne is a Man United fan. Hello, Wayne.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Not bad, thank you. Good show, guys.
Thank you, man.
Cheers, balls.
What would you like to say?
Well, I watch the UFC, I watch the boxing, I've grown up with boxing. I think UFC's getting a bit more power behind it now, but one thing that really annoys me about the boxing is the rematch clauses. I don't know how long it's been going on, these rematch clauses, but it never used to happen. You used to have a fight, if you lost, you lost, whereas now it's like, if you lose, you've got another bite of the cherry. And the other thing that's bad about it is that you can't fight anybody else usually, like with Tyson Fury and the other guy, Wilder.
Do you know what though, Wayne? The only thing about that Wilder and Fury fight which I liked, I felt like the first 2 fights were relatively close. I know the third fight ended up happening because I think it went to... Did it go to court or something? And remember, he was scheduled to fight Joshua, but that couldn't go ahead because he had to fight Wilder for the third time. But I felt like there was no problems making them 3 fights. Like, it just happened. All of a sudden, if we're trying to get AJ in the ring with Fury, it's like it's impossible.
But in the old days, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran, they fought each other multiple times, and there was no rematch clauses. People wanted to see the fights. They fought other people in between them mega fights, and that's what we should be seeing in boxing. We want to see these other boxers coming through. Instead, we're stuck with 3 boxers. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I'll tell you what, thanks for your call, Wayne. 2 points about Wayne touched on, I think the caller before him touched on it. There's too much pay-per-view, right? The fight the weekend, Joe Joyce against Josie Parker, for nothing, was £20, right? Now I bought it, you bought it, right? It shouldn't be pay-per-view for a fight like that. And also, the ring walk for boxers nowadays is taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get in. That is ridiculous now.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
I would hate to be in the first one to the ring because you're waiting in that ring for so long.
But we don't. People come out and they sing, and then they've got all these videos that they go to.
Yeah, but you liked it back in the day when it was Eubank and Ben and these guys.
No, just get them into.
No, but you liked it back then.
No, honestly, it takes too long because by the time they get in the ring, it's 10:30 at night, and I'm like, I've just been waiting an hour for this. Ridiculous. What are you looking at?
Just looking at the Fury Wilder fight. There was 2 years in between.
Oh, right. You're watching the fight now, yeah?
Yeah, two years in between. But listen, it felt like it was easy to make, that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Whereas this AJ Fury one is like, come on.
Probably never. Well, it's too late now.